Welcome back, everybody. Knysna-based short fiction writer Jo-Ann Bekker is currently in Johannesburg to promote and launch her new book, and that is a short story collection titled Asleep, Awake, Asleep Stories. The 39 interlinked stories in Asleep, Awake, Asleep can be read as a hand-drawn narrative map charting the course of a country's turbulent history. Jo-Ann is in studio with us this morning to tell us more about these tales. A very good morning to you, Jo-Ann, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I believe you started writing short stories fiction in 2012. What was it about this genre of fiction that particularly appealed to you?
I have a background as a journalist, and I did a MA in creative writing at Rhodes University. We tried a whole lot of different genres, and this is the one that was probably closest to journalism. And you can write really short, and that appealed to me.
I mean, how would you make it appeal to those hard nuts to crack who don't necessarily, who are not necessarily fond of fiction?
A lot of people say they don't read short stories, but for our busy life, it's actually the perfect little bite-sized chunk. Yeah. And people have read the book that said, well, they're going to read the book because they don't know me, but they don't really read short stories, and they've enjoyed them. They're kind of interlinked, and also because they're short, you can just read one a night and go to sleep.
Yeah, indeed. And the title, what's in that name?
The name is kind of a comment, I suppose, on people in suburbia, you know, sleeping while this undercurrent from apartheid forever, you know, that we live with in South Africa. You can never really be fully asleep in South Africa.
Are these some of the stories that you explore in these short stories? I mean, what's the central theme in these stories? Because I believe they're all interlinked.
They semi-interlinked. I wrote them all separately, and I didn't write with an idea of this book. I just wrote the short stories that came up, and then you put them together. Okay. And this was the kind of theme that emerged.
So
yes.
These stories, were they inspired by a certain event, or is it something that you just woke up in the morning and decided to write about?
They're very inspired by reading. That's how journalism... That is how creative writing is taught at the course I did. So you read these incredible writers from all over the world, all over the continent, all over the world, and you read something and it inspires you so much, you stop reading and you start writing your own story.
And talk to us about some of the stories that have a deeper meaning to you.
Well, a story I'm particularly, it's close to my heart, is called What an Umbusela Said. And it's one of the widows of the Cradock Four who were assassinated. Yeah. I did a lot of reporting in Cradock in 1984. Okay. And the narrator in the story, because it's fiction, goes back to Cradock, you know, a few years ago, and what she sees and how she feels and how she reassesses her own life, yeah, and how little she has done, you know, since those years. Yeah. And
some of the stories, including Skin, including Confessions and Visiting Rights, to mention a few, are very relatable. How were you able to capture them so effortlessly?
Well, I didn't worry about that when I was writing them. Okay. You know, you just go into this sort of zone and you write what you have to write. You try and concentrate on the story. That's all you worry about.
Indeed. And some of those who are not particularly fond of short stories or fiction, I mean, your way of writing, Jo-Ann, and how interlinked these stories are, is of course enough to capture the imagination of every reader. So is that what you were going for, to rope in all types of readership?
Yes, I would love that. You can't control who's going to read the book, but that could be wonderful.
And I believe that this book has been launched already in Johannesburg.
Yes.
Give us more details.
Yes, it was launched at Love Books on Thursday night. Yeah, it's fantastic to be in a bookshop and with people that love books, and it went well.
I mean, for a book that has got multiple themes and it explores different issues, what's that central theme that you want your viewers, or readers rather, to take away from it?
I think it's the undercurrent of violence that we live with in South Africa that comes from colonialism, definitely from apartheid, and that crime isn't something separate. It's all connected with our history, and we all carry the violence of what happened in this country and is still happening deep inside.
Right.
Yeah.
And where can you get a copy?
Any bookshop, any, from Amazon, Take-A-Lot,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Any bookshop.
Jo-Ann, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great stuff. Now, Asleep, Awake, Asleep. That's the title of Jo-Ann Bekker's collection of stories book. And we've just had a conversation with her about this newly released offering. Well, if you also belong to a book club or you're a lone reader, you can also join us for a Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Just send us a detailed description of your book club on email, or you can also send us a picture of those books with a brief caption using our social media platforms. You can use our Twitter handle at @MorningLoveSABC, #MorningLoveSABC. You can also tag or send us a Facebook message via our page, Morning Live SABC. And our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za. This is Morning Live. We'll take a coffee break. We'll be right back.